This is Due by Friday, a weekly challenge podcast with Alex Cox and Merlin Mann. This week's challenge, clean the shit out of something.
Recording.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. I had a great morning, and I do have a request for you.
Hello.
You had a very brief anecdote on another one of your shows. Roddicker on the line.
Roddicker on the line.
It's so
At least
great
you didn't do that racist
word.
Chinese version this time.
Oh, God. I really thought that when I said I'm going to do it on another one of your
oh my goodness
podcasts you do with another John called
2 seconds. Reconcilable
differences.
You're just going to lean all the way into the Chinese racism. Is that the idea?
I was like, it's a bit. It doesn't sound that bad. And I...
This is because you're not a Chinese person.
I went
probably sounds pretty bad to
token.
them.
Yeah, took that to I called them my token Asian. And I'm like, it doesn't sound like that, right? And
Wow, this is a real journey. 1 minute, 34 seconds. Okay.
Yeah, she's like, oh no, it sounds really bad. If someone took this out of context and you were,
I've got it fully in
SNL,
context, and I don't think it's great. So I had on the problem with the Roderick on the line anecdote is you want another one an hour later. Go ahead. Did you have that casual racism as a child? The Chinese food, you get hungry an hour later? Because if not, you won't understand that joke I make once a month.
I do, but I haven't ever experienced it because, as we know, love white food. Wow,
white food. Laugh, love.
I live, laugh, and love white rice. So when my family would get Chinese food, I would just get a ton of white rice and just like, and I wasn't hungry afterwards because I ate like a giant square of rice. It was great.
Yeah,
I love Chinese.
I didn't have the same experience, but I agree that we shouldn't be racist. What was the beginning of the anecdote? Hi, Alex. I missed you. We didn't record last week because of some fucking reason, but I'm really glad to be back. I missed you, and it's nice to talk to you again.
I miss you too, and did one of those things where you accused me of disappearing and not texting. Or
is this part of the anecdote question or a different thing?
No, it's
yes
all
or
related.
no.
All related.
Condition of reason these questions are answered when you use an adverb.
Our mutual friend, I would hope that he's a friend of the one of the great Slacks, told you about a URL that he had to create, and someone not knowing so much that I believe you said it's so wrong you couldn't even. I just please tell this anecdote.
Oh, it was about a friend of mine who used to do IT work at a university, and they had a person who was supporting a program, and they needed a way to create a subdomain to go learn, what this program or person was about. And as it happened, it was a person with a slightly unconventionally spelled and typeset name who was a famous artist. I don't know why I'm so worried about the Leroy Neiman estate coming after Matt Howey or the staff of UCLA. But what had happened was Leroy Neiman, whose name is spelled capital L-E, capital R-O-Y, one word, Leroy. Last name Neiman, I think it's N-E-I-M-A-N. And so the story I remember, and I can't promise this is true well enough. Maybe we could have Matt on sometime. Oh, we should do that. I don't know if Matt listens to the show, but we should have him on. Is that the request came down from Mr. Leroy Neiman's people that the subdomain not only needed to spell his name correctly, but the case of his name also needed to be correct, which meant it needed to be capital L, lowercase e, capital R-O-Y. I guess he'd allow for the space, although I don't know if that falls in his. But anyway, and the take home was that there was somebody, I just always think of this, not because it's a good anecdote for Roderick on the Line, but I always think of it because it represents the sort of thing where you have trouble explaining to people the levels of not great to an idea. And the upshot was that Leroy Neiman wanted it so that if you did not spell his name with an intercase, like, well, I don't forget what that's called, but, like camel case. Like if you didn't include the capital R and then have all the rest lowercase, the page wouldn't come up. Well, as long as we're repeating stories, I thought that would be a 404 Leroy Neiman not found error. And I just thought that was such a funny story. And I think the phrase you're referring to, I know the phrase you're referring to, and I think I'm getting it right. It's a phrase I've heard people say, which is, that's so wrong, it's not even right. Which is, I think, a good phrase. Do we want to talk about that and maybe the origin of that? I bet it's from the jargon file.
I forgot about the jargon file. I love your jargon file.
No. My jargon in Hub is different. Hub. I'm talking about Stallman's original. I think it's Stallman or Eric Raymond. Maybe Eric Raymond.
Oh no, it's not.
Google
okay.
Eric Raymond jargon file, and that's where a lot of stuff you hear. I'm not saying it came from that, but he started collecting sort of nerd vocabulary a pretty long time ago. I think it's called the jargon file.
Oh, this needs to. Oh, what a handsome man!
Hey, easy. He was born like that. Talking about Eric Raymond?
I
calling him
so.
handsome, I can't help but think you're being a little sarcastic.
No, I like a man who embraces the Costanza baldness situation, I suppose.
I don't have a picture in front of me, but I thought he had something like, I thought he had a little bit of an eye situation, doesn't he?
Oh,
Doesn't he have like a little bit of a Jean-Paul Sartre going
on? Well, unlike Leroy, I don't know Eric. I'm not really great with spelling, so I don't know.
Hacker slang and hacker culture. Okay, so this is, we might remember to put this in notes, but who knows? Ever since you told me to stop using AI for notes, I've quit bothering, so it's all on you now.
But I didn't say stop using.
You were very brusque with me about my AI, which is fine.
What? There is an after show in which you say you got excited, and I
showed you something incredible, and not only did you not think it was incredible, you kind of upbraided me for even doing it.
No, you accuse me often of feigned excitement, and I
accuse you of that because you do it constantly.
No, but this time I wasn't like, oh my God,
you're like Claude. You don't know to use your mechanical hooks and see whether you already know it before saying, what is that? So we made that a mechanical hook and then have a red-green test for it.
I'm sorry, I'm not Tommy Lascelles. I'm not a Diana either, but we can, should we table? I'm
just trying to find an actual list. This is a lot of, table of contents is kind of a mess. Hacker speech style. Oh, yeah. I could be wrong. Well, let's just look for it then. How you doing? You all right? Has your week been okay?
It's been phenomenal this morning.
I got to know what happened, if you can say.
Oh, I got to spend the week like cosplaying a parent, basically, for my nieces.
What kind of outfit do you get for that? Is that something you've been working on for years? You get 3D printed parts? Like a Felicia Day type situation?
I've got the Crocs in professional mode.
With giblets?
They're the off. No, because giblets are not child safe. So
actually, technically, they're called gibbets. That was the joke. Giblets are part of a turkey. If memory serves.
Oh, I'm not familiar with the.
Let's see. Oh, okay. I got a partial here. I got a partial find on this. And so of the little ones, how all three? There's three, right?
The two and then a third.
The third one's like you got a fresh baby over there, right?
Yes. There's the fresh one occasionally, but because the fresh one has.
Do you know how to take care of a baby, Alex? No, this is an honest question. Like you're like, are you comfortable with like a pre-toddler? Are you okay with dealing with feeding and fussiness and diapers and all that? Are you cool with all that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it might surprise you to know that a lot of people aren't, including a lot of men.
That would not surprise me.
Whereas I'm a person who's always asking people, is there any chance that I could hold your baby for a while?
Do you happen to have any sort of cosplay packed away? Well, because
Yeah,
it's not
sure.
like I almost at this point always want to have a little spit up bib with me because
Right, right, right.
I am not a big can I hold your baby person. I want to do the practical things. I would like to help with the diaper genie. I would like to disinfect the bottles. I want to use all the
Oh my
fancy
God!
machines.
Yes, you're part of the support team.
Yes,
I
I want
learned
to
a new
be
term.
on the logistics.
There's a guy I like a lot on YouTube. I'm guessing you've probably seen his videos, although you may not know it. I think it's called Animographics, and he specializes in doing these extremely detailed 3D renderings of things like how a jet works or
Hmm.
how an 18th century sailing vessel works. Basically, how Lord Nelson's ship works. His latest one is really surprisingly engrossing, especially if you've had an edible, and that's how an early 20th century steamship works, like a liner that does cargo plus people. It's like an hour and 40 minutes, and it's really good. And I learned a new phrase because you hear those phrases, those old timey phrases. Okay, here's one. You ever heard somebody refer to as a scullery maid?
Yes, but I don't know what it means.
Okay, but like you can get from having heard it, like, oh, that doesn't, like, whether that's on you know, some, Edwardian Victorian period piece or wherever, you get that that's not probably not a high status role. It's like what Emma Stone plays at first in The Favorite. You're like,
Exactly. Like when I hear scullery maid, my file card on that is more just a visual of a
you're doing this
certain
stuff
type of
like
woman.
yes, it's I as somebody who came up in the restaurant industry, I think of it as the role of, say, a dishwasher. And when you say a dishwasher, well, dishwasher just means like everything from dishwasher down in terms of status. Like you do a lot of mopping, there's still a ton of like physical, like annoying stuff you have to do as a dishwasher that's a lot more than just putting dishes in the dishwasher. You do a lot of the really gross grunt work. And I think that's scullery maid. I think a lot of it. You do mopping, cleaning toilets, setting up fires. I learned a new term. And this is for a person. As soon as I heard this term, I instantly realized this is the role I would have on an early 20th century steamship. A pantryman.
A pantryman.
A pantryman. And the plural is pantryman, pantry they. And that person's job is, I think, like a ship dishwasher. Like you just run around and do a lot of stuff. I think I would be a pantryman. And that sounds like that's what you're doing. You're a pantry they for this little baby. You're just ready to show up and do whatever. If you have to change a diaper, you can, but you tend to work more in a support role. You're not the chef. You're the person bringing up cow parts from the A deck.
Right. I am the line cook that I
Yes.
hope you never need to address.
I bet you're not a
because
line cook. I bet
know
you're a
what's
prep
happening.
cook. You're even lower on the totem pole probably. Like a prep. That's the lowest totem pole on the actual preparing food section.
I will give myself enough credit where I could step in though, up to the line if necessary, but I don't aspire to because I know that there's
Oh
someone who's
man.
probably better at it, but in a tight spot, or in a tight spot, I can be like, "Oh, yep, let's pretend to be the mom. Yep, I'm holding you. It's
And
great."
that's awesome that you're okay with that. That's really cool. Because a
I
lot of
don't
people
know.
aren't. I mean,
That's
am I being dense? Do you not realize like how many
no,
men
not at
will not
all.
go near anything unless it's like the very worst of circumstances? I think there's still a fair number of men who are not. Oh, I'm sorry. It sounds like I'm trying to big time people, and I don't mean it that way. It's just that, yes, I am the sort. Okay, here's an example. As it happens, we were at a hockey game on Saturday, and I can only spend so much time being around like a lot of people, like packed real tight. And so I was out in kind of the lobby area, like watching the game on the TV. And there's so many good babies, so many good babies at this game. And there's a couple standing next to me, and the mom, they're trying to strap the baby onto the dad. And it's a pretty fresh baby. You can tell it's a fresh baby because it didn't even have like socks and shoes on. Like it's not going to walk around, right? It's got little baby feet sticking out. And the mom, as it happens, is holding two big cans of Modelo whilst they're trying to get the baby strapped to the dad. And I can't recommend this for everybody because this is not something you should do unless you know what you're doing, or you will look like a weirdo. I took out my headphones. They're a foot and a half away from me. I take out my headphones. I turn to the mom. I turn to the mom and I say, "Let me hold this for you." And she instantly handed me the cans, and I held them because she instantly understood. I think she could tell that I was a guy who understood how hard it is to strap a baby to a dad while holding 2 cans of beer.
No,
And she was, and I'm also like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but because, I've been through this, I'm also that guy who will like, before we even get to the station, I'll be like, say to the mom, can I help you get your stroller down the steps? Because it is no fun. Okay, because you've been around babies enough to know the really sucky thing about babies to me is the gear. Like how much, like you said, like, oh, you might need this, you might need that. You might need his busy bee. Like you need extra diapers, all this kind of stuff, right? It's a lot
and it's
to carry
always
around.
the might too. That it's
'Cause you
not
gotta be ready.
just your boss getting mad. It is like, oh, your boobs might explode if you don't have the right part for a breast
Well,
pump,
and even
and you're
something
helping
like
a mom.
like it's really is that again, the great John Mulaney makes that joke about how he used to snort coke off of the things he used to change a baby in a bathroom. And it's like I've lived that. I've been a lot of places where the last place in the world that I wanted to put my baby was a temporary shelf in a restroom. But that's where you can go. And so you might bring a pad or a towel or something because like I don't like that, but my wife super doesn't like that. If she ever found out like from hidden footage that I just put the baby on the Coke counter,
Oh yeah,
no.
you at least want
There's no bonus burgers for that. No, sir. But I feel like in that situation, because it wasn't like I said, hello, I happen to have a child. May I assist you? You just go, again, it's a very wisdom document kind of approach. Like, here, just let me hold this for you. I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere. Just do your thing. She could have just put him on the ground, but I understand, you wouldn't want to do that. It is San Jose.
It's an unironic. Do you think, at least in your experience, do you do sort of an unironic code switch to like when you took off your headphones? Like you're not like just some guy chilling out in the area, being
right.
being quiet, but like
I don't immediately read
dad.
as a baby stalker.
Yeah.
Although I really would love to carry your baby for a while. Like if you're sick of walking up and down the aisle on the plane, can I just say, it's like waiting for brunch, putting my name on the list. I would love to carry your baby for 45 minutes, and I don't mind if it yells.
You got the MBA, male baby admirer. Good for you.
Did you just make that up?
I think so.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
Write that down. That's good. And so how, if you can say for OPSEC reasons, within the four corners of OPSEC, so were you the primary caregiver for 2 or 3 kids?
Yes.
Because you didn't have the baby too, right? They didn't leave you the baby.
No. Yeah, no.
Did they go on a trip or something?
They sort of.
But they were just. But all I'm trying to ask is like, were they out? Were you like the
I was
person who took
home
care
with
of
them for more than 48 hours.
No, really.
Well,
how much TV are they allowed to watch?
With me?
But okay, other people are going, gosh, Merlin, what a random question. If you have a kid for more than a day, you're going to want to really know what the TV policy is at some point. Not even just, not for laziness, not because you want to go spark a doobie, but, in the case of like somebody like my wife, it's so she could take a goddamn shower or like, take a shit. It's like, because, and also, is it fair to say you're outnumbered? Was Matthew with you?
Yes, only for brief periods.
But you were mostly outnumbered, and you were still the far and away the primary, nearly sole caregiver. You're the responsible party.
Showers are the worst. Were the worst part. I mean, the 2 and 4 years old were like with toddlers. It's a little bit easier, but even I'm not. I truly understand why people often aren't baby people if you do not have a baby, because I am not a parent and I would not.
Like you didn't babysit. Like my wife has been preparing for this for her whole life because she's done so much babysitting. She's been a nanny in 2 different countries. Like she has done a lot of childcare for a vocation and whether that's as a babysitter as a teen or as a nanny as a grown up. So like, but no, you're right. I mean, there's a lot of people. I bet there's a lot of guys who are 25, 35, 45 that like I could not change a diaper without being shown how to do it. I didn't know how to do that. I'd never changed a diaper before.
Well, Matt didn't. And because he's an only child. And so the only reason that I I just grew up with four siblings, and it wasn't typically it wasn't like here's all four, go with God, but it was like this curiosity of like, oh God, what is this little thing? What is happening? And just seeing those experiences and seeing over a freaking
And also, isn't
decade.
it partly also learning what you can probably survive? Or like if you were really new to that and it turned out the kid was getting sick and got a fever while the parents were out to dinner, like wouldn't you like lose your shit a little bit the first time?
Oh my God, ear infections.
Oh, they're the worst.
Until I
The
was,
worst.
oh my,
Ear
you
infections
don't
and
get,
sunburns to me were the worst of childhood.
and you don't know how to explain, like, especially with sunburn. I remember telling my little brother when he was like four, like, how do you say this isn't a big deal when it feels like you think your skin's gonna fall off? You've never had this
It's one of the first
experience.
ear to me ear infections or earaches we used to call them, but like earaches and to some extent later on sunburn are two things where like it's to me at least it's like a first taste of a kind of pain that you will experience in going forward in life. But it's one of the first times you have the best example I could think of is your first migraine. Like my first migraine was I was 30 something, 31 probably my first migraine. And it was the most, have you had migraines? You have, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's the most, even a mild migraine is the most centering in a bad way, like overwhelming kind of like existential pain. And it's a phrase I want to use, inescapable. And to me, that's the thing about earaches and sunburns is that pain. There's no relief from that pain. Like if you have a really bad cough and it hurts a lot, like at least you get a little bit of a break when you're not coughing. But if you have a sunburn, there's no way to be comfortable. If you have an earache, it's really hard to sleep. It's really hard to do anything except cry. And if the kid's not, if even if they are somebody you can talk to, you don't want to be the parent who goes like, sorry, kid, this is just going to suck a lot for a few days. And then what do you say? Oh, we'll take you to the doctor. Oh, yay. Because, the only thing better than having an earache is having somebody put something in your ear when you've got an earache.
Yes. Poke the part and then pull it open. And
Poke the part,
this is
pull it
what,
open. Fucking
poke the
doctors.
part, poke and pull. As an adult,
Imagine having
it's
a
still
chronic
not a
bowel
great experience.
disease.
And
I don't need to.
that's not that funny. Why am
It's
I
not. It's not. It's
laughing
not
at
that funny. But at the moment when you most really super need to be going to the gastrointestinal pseudo emergency area, or like have a procedure, like it's really not the time that you want to have spent the previous 12 hours having something that makes you shit a lot.
No,
It feels real ironical. It's a real white knuckle journey from here to UCSF when you've got a colonoscopy coming.
Jesus.
Sitting on one cheek, they call it. Then I saw another guy, as long as I'm telling anecdotes, I would only say this to you and here. I say this to my lady friend, but I'll also say this to you here. I think a lot of times people use that phrase. They're like, "Oh, I love people watching. I love just going out and like what." And I like that too, except I'm more honest about it. I do. I don't know if I enjoy it. I learn a lot from being around people, but I consider it more like silent judgment. I
Yes.
I judge a lot, and I especially judge a lot of men. When I'm just standing around. It doesn't benefit me to talk a lot about this stuff, so I don't. But just, just seeing all these fucking wet chodes standing around with their, a guy who plays golf, you know what that kind of guy looks like? Where he looks kind of like a barrel of whiskey from the waist up, and then kind of looks like a couple chopsticks from the waist down, and he's got like white shoes, and you can tell he plays golf with his little skinny legs. Six of
Yeah.
these guys standing in a circle, guys in their 40s and 50s with giant beers. You can buy a beer in a hockey stick. I didn't do that. But people sitting there
That
leering
would
at
be a little bit
women,
exciting. That'd be cute. Okay, I'm sorry. Proceed.
tattoos, and it was Barbie Day, so we went for Barbie Day. So I go to the restroom like a person does.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
What is Barbie Day?
So like there'll be these I don't know exactly how this works, but the classic example from when I was a kid was you would go, so if you go to the ballpark, I think they used to do this for Well, the idea is you come to the park and there's a theme. And then as a
Yeah.
result of that theme, usually the first N people get a little prize. And there might be some kind of like entertainment or ceremony. Like if you were going to give Willie Mays yet another well-deserved award for being one of the great giants, you go on like Willie Mays night. And so you might get a Willie Mays bobblehead, and then Willie Mays might be there, and maybe some children will dress like Willie Mays and do a dance or something.
I think people are, unlike babies, are familiar with that, especially like with baseball. There's
You can get a little
like
bat. The thing is, they don't really give you weapons anymore.
real shame.
People have learned in some
Be
of
a
the,
real
especially some of the,
country.
sorry?
We used to be a real country. It's a shame.
Yeah, I call it the woke mind virus. The time was they would give stuff away, but then we found out from places like almost everywhere in Pennsylvania and a lot of New England, if you give people anything at a sports thing, they'll throw it at people. So that's why to this day you never see D-cell battery night at say a Philadelphia game.
No, my tongue was on those batteries. I was putting the bat somewhere else.
Well, that
and-
would be a 9-volt, but
yeah.
I take the point. You'd have to get that whole fucking thing in your mouth.
Well,
You ever
you
put a
have
whole
an
D-cell in your
experimental
mouth?
phase, so you have to try different batteries until you find the right one.
You can also get
So-
adapters. You can. I've seen an adapter. You can turn AAA into a AA. I think gender is an illusion, and I'll come back to not even wrong in a minute. So I'm in the bathroom, going to urinate. And, it's a whole scene in there. You got all the urinals. You got the blah 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 blah, and I'm standing there at the urinal, and I hear, there's different kinds of dads. Everybody knows Fun Dad. Almost every kind of dad involves talking a little bit too loud. A Fun Dad is like letting everybody know how funny he is, and he's making sure everybody doesn't need a hot dog and everything's fine. But then this guy's performative dad, and my gut was that the guy who walked into the bathroom with children, I doubt it. But given this situation that I'm about to describe, I think this might have been divorced dad taking 3 very small children to a hockey game.
on Barbie night. Did it look?
Yeah.
did
Oh,
you
sorry. So
bother?
the thing is, you get a Ken style cheapy fanny pack that says Barbie on it, and then there's like Barbie branding all night on the jumbotron, and some of the people on the floor down there interviewing people. There's a lady in a pink cowboy hat. There's shirts. This is a whole world. Like I'm just learning about. Is like actually seeing firsthand modern sports enthusiasm because now I'm a hockey person. And but I hear at first you're just mainly aware of, oh god, there's a guy talking loud, and he's doing that performative thing where he's saying, and he walks in, there's a boy of perhaps 10, there's a boy of perhaps 7 or 8, and there's a very toddlerish, probably 2 or 3-year-old girl in his arms. The 10-year-old boy is carrying some food on a plate. And you ever seen a little kid carry a cup of tea or something, and you're like, oh, that is not going to make it to the living room.
Yes, it's like that. That's an adorable disaster waiting to happen. As long as I'm not the one who has to
Right here
clean it
in the
up.
men's room in San Jose. He's walking in and he's issuing a lot of instructions. It doesn't become clear immediately what he needs to do, but it's very much like, again, the fox, the chicken, and the grain, crossing the river. So he comes in, he picks up, and then I kind of tune in, and he says, now I want you to hold that and hold it very still and even, and now you two stay right here. And you could tell by the ages here, roughly 10, roughly 7 or 8, the little boy is kind of like, being a little boy and kind of like jostling his brother. And the brother looks like he did not get the thing that he wanted out of this day, the older brother. He's balancing things on a plate by the diaper changing area. Has to watch his little brother while his father takes this presumably sister in to use the bathroom. Mm-hmm. And I really felt bad for the guy, and my mind started swimming a little bit, wondering about that dad. Because, don't those little boys need to pee too? And like, couldn't you split that up? Is he there? I just couldn't imagine a situation except that he was there by himself. Because if he was there with, say, the mother of the girl, she probably, not in a sexist way, but you do want to break up responsibilities. You can't have the pantryman steering the boat. title.
It's
Terrible title. Think you want to be a pantryman? You're my little pantryman.
it would depend on the outfit. I think like I've seen some cutlery
Oh, tell me
made with
more.
well I
Okay,
don't
what
know
if I
what
let
the
you for
Pantry
my
Man's outfit
ship? I
is.
let you design your own uniform. What's it gonna look like?
Oh, probably
Yeah, are you pretty comfortable with the role? You understand what I mean? It's almost, I'm not saying it's exactly analogous, but it's kind of like dishwasher is to steakhouse, as pantryman is to steamship. So like you're going to be doing a lot of carrying stuff up and down steps. A lot of what they do, they prepare things in the galley. Then the galley, then you've got pantries. And then you've also got the serving area. So when you're going to serve the first class passengers, it goes from the galley to the staging area to then where what they're called stewards, like Jon Snow. The waitrons then take it out to the people at their first class tables. Now and you know what? I'm going to say this. You're going to be employee number 2 on my ship. In fact, I'm
Does
going
that
to
mean I'm
say
the second person who has been hired
normally that
or
would mean you'd get a lot of equity in the company. But that decision's a little above my pay grade. Mainly, I just want, you're probably on the run. I'm guessing, working on your backstory. You just need to get off this rock and get to some other place. And you're willing. And I say to you, you're my old friend. Maybe we went to Eton together or something. And I say to you, you're going to work on Daddy's ship. What do you want to do and how will you dress? I can make it happen. It's like your dream restaurant. Papa Dom's of bread.
I want a well it all needs all circles all everything sheets
Sheet of ham.
the,
You don't put round sheets on your bed.
not a huge fan of that
She showed up on a TV show. I now have watched so much multi-country British panel shit that people are starting to show up. I'm currently watching a show with 2 Taskmaster New Zealand people in it called Deadlock. That's pretty good. And I saw I saw her on an episode of, I think it was that. She just, no, it wasn't that. It was on, oh, you know what it was on? It was on the Philomena Kunk show, Mandy, that wonderful woman, Diane Morgan. A couple people.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
do you know who Philomena Kunk is? The red-haired woman that does all the Clueless English, like, history stuff. And she's kind of like Ali G, but like, Diane, she's on this season of Last One Laughing.
She
Philomena
looks
Kunk?
a little bit like Amy Pond, but an older
Yeah.
Amy Pond with.
Are you
yes.
watching Last One Laughing?
No.
Oh my God.
Well, I'm aware of.
She's from the North. She's from the North and has this amazing accent. And and she showed up on there. What's that woman's name? What's her name? What's the woman on Off Menu? What's she called? We can do this.
American Horror
We'll find it for
Story.
notes. Off Menu episode with that woman I like. It starts out kind of funny, but it's around the starter I think we've talked about this, that it gets really funny. And honestly, like the Stevie Martin one, like yet another person who mostly wants different kinds of bread. And chicken, like what else is there? She has a cookbook.
Pasta every night. That's when I realized this is a kindred spirit.
She thinks
Is
pasta
when
and bread are the only food groups.
she was like, "Why wouldn't
She's got
you
a,
have
she got a
pasta every
cookbook.
night?"
It's not anything in particular. She's written by a woman called Beth. So let me just give you a rundown here. You can have a lot of different roles. If you want to apply to be up in the wheelhouse with me, now listen, I don't even want to say that I have to be the captain. Do you want to be the captain?
No, I want to be down in the trend. Like if
You're gonna
this
be
were
a
the
lower
Titanic,
deck
I'd want to
monkey.
drown. Not want to drown, but probably would. Like I want to be in.
Well, if the boat
depending on what
maintains its
kind of
integrity,
ship.
you hopefully won't drown.
Yes, I would hope that there's enough lifeboats, but women and children first. They's kind of get, it's like, get on the
Days
rainbow
last.
ship.
Okay.
I would very much want a modular.
You don't want a
uniform.
management
I think
position
would be
though, right? You want something where you could like work on your writing or something.
The
Is it okay? I mean, like, and then like if, like, for example, there's different kinds of roles. There's roles that involve tending the fire, the coal fire, for keeping the steam stuff running. And the way a steam engine in one of these things works is completely bananas. But then because that steam then feeds to all different kinds of engines in the boat and different kinds of things. It's not just whistles anymore. And there's that. You could be a fireman, which means that you do 58 shovels of coal. You have 4 hours on, 8 hours off. You could be a fireman. You could be in the engine room.
See, these sound boring. I want to know about the different, like the first one, the different types
Would
of
you want to be like the
steam,
cruise director? You could be
the
like the head steward, or the Julian McCoy. That's before your time. But you could be. You think you'd want to run like guest services?
I don't think I'd
You love
want
answering questions from
to do
rich
that.
people.
I would, well, like the one of, I don't know what she's called, but the one of the hostesses, I don't know. She's on Triangle of Sadness. She's like on the
Oh, I
staff
know who
and
you
needs
mean.
to nod and smile when someone
Yeah,
is
the
so
lady
wrong
who
about something. It's not even right.
when they
And
start banging on the tables about money and the tips. That woman, the broadly
oh
smiling blonde
no,
woman who has to listen to the long stories.
the
I
she
thought
has
about
to
that. I thought about
explain.
that movie watching this. I swear to God.
Yeah, you can't. It's like, well, can't you change? It's like, no, that's the mast of the ship. That's what makes it go. We can't change
There's a
where the
point where
sail is.
where a woman on the ship gets to go to the captain's dinner and complains to the captain of the ship, played by Woody Harrelson. And yes, it's very fucking funny. And her complaint was that the masts of the ship are dirty. Was that
Yep.
it?
Mhm. Yes, they were.
This is
They
going to
were
bring
all
us
white.
exactly straight back to where we started. I'm very happy to say. And so then he has to say, because the customer's always right. She says, "Those masts are dirty. Could you clean those?" Like, and he has to say, "Well, ma'am, this is oh God, there's actually a wonderful line that I'm forgetting. That his response to her is something like, ma'am, this is a steamship. Like, we don't have sails. There's no masts to be dirty. But he's got to like play along. Do you think you'd be good in a role like that?
Yes.
Well, you know who might be interesting in a role like that? Like that is somebody named Wolfgang Pauli. Wolfgang Pauli, a theoretical physicist who is credited. Let's see, he's known for his colorful objections to incorrect or careless thinking. Wolfgang Pauli is quoted as being the first
Well,
person.
wait. A theoretical physicist who is his claim to fame is a what now? Like a bad thought technology? This is
Well,
fascinating.
this is the guy, just real quick, he's the guy who's credited with first saying not even wrong. Not even wrong is a phrase used to describe pseudoscience and bad science, or bad science. It describes an argument or explanation that purports to be scientific, but uses faulty reasoning or speculative premises, which can be neither affirmed nor denied, and thus cannot be discussed rigorously and scientifically. That's not exactly what we're saying was so wrong. It's not even right, but it's a start.
Yeah. Oh, yes,
And to
yes.
answer your question, the queries are written down for me. I think I bet it's something where it's like it's thinking about quantum mechanics or something is not the time to get loosey goosey. If anything, you want to be able to show your work more than ever. If it's speculative,
You need to know how to get the car seat in and out quickly and safely, and you need to know
oh
what
my God, have you
type
been
of
dealing with a
seat,
car seat, Alex?
oh yeah.
Have you been
Yes.
dealing with two car seats?
No, I have never had the challenge of two car seats at once, but I've
But
observed
did you have
it.
to
And it
put
was
any car
awe.
seat in and out of a car in the last week?
Yes, and
Is it
and that was
still, is it the one that we had? I try to explain this to my kids. I don't think they know what I'm talking about. You gotta, there's different ways you can do it depending on how modern your car is. But the kind that we had with our unmodern car was you put the thing in the back seat, usually, facing backwards if it's a little kid, but you always use a seat belt to do it. And the way that you attach it is inside this chamber below where the baby sits. It's this little blank area where you stick your hands into this thing, and it's like fucking Dune. I don't know. There's a corner. There's a corner on this thing that feels deliberately sharpened. I don't understand why, but there's a hole on either side. If y'all understand, think about it as like the little platform, like a Statue of Liberty type platform that you use for the mechanical holding of the seat. And maybe we just chose poorly. Aesthetically, it drives me crazy that no matter how you put a car seat down, it falls over. That always drove me nuts. I guess that's because it's not really meant to be on the pavement. It's meant to be in the car. Whatever. That drove me crazy aesthetically.
Are you
Because
gonna
don't you
put
sometimes need to
it
put a
on the
baby on the
pavement
ground, like if
or
you're in a
on the
casino
roof?
or something?
I mean, it's all about the transition. Like let's say I don't know. I might have, based on years of this show, you might have noticed I have a thing with backpacks and phone cases, and part of it is like, how do these things function in the transitional period? Because
How do you, say what that means?
you don't want to watch that backpack flop over when you have,
So, like, for example, in the John Syracuse approach to AirPods, there's only two places that an AirPod can ever be. I think this is good, even though I don't always follow it. If you've got AirPods, little chappies, they're either in your ears or they're in your case, and they never go anywhere else, right? But the thing is, with a backpack, you could say, well, there's a backpack on my. Let's mostly I think of as a pack for my back. But when it's not a pack for my back, is it just going to be a floppy fall over thing?
And though that is, it's not the most important part, but it is probably the part you will notice the most because
isn't that kind of ditto for like the Syracuse adjacent thing of like, I would like to be able to put my phone down flat on a surface and have it not rock.
Yep. It's been over a decade.
It's so fun. It's so funny. We should be talking about this. The very latest thing that I 3D printed so I've got the Apple like Touch ID, Bluetooth keyboard on my Mac. And it's just this really nice little subtle thing of like these little 3D parts. And you basically, if you can imagine just like a little thing you put on either side of it so that it kind of just slightly angles it up. So it's not like flat. You know what I mean?
Yes.
All right.
Like a teensy bit.
It fit close enough. But it was then, you know what I did? Alex, this is so fucking me. This is my morning, which I had a great morning too. But then I took little bits of fun tack and I fun tacked the inside of the little holder thing and thought maybe that'll make it hold better. But there was a rock to it that that you could not even really exactly feel. You couldn't hear, but you knew it was there. And I had to take it off. I can't live like that. What if you want to put your baby down? What if you're going to a Sharks game and want to get some beers? Where do you put the baby?
I mean, even let's say you don't even want or need a beer. Let's say you're not a performative dad and you actually are a dad with the two kids and one of them is a baby. You don't want to put your baby on the bathroom floor, especially if the tile is a little uneven, but a situation might arise where your other kid has like fallen down or
Alex,
suddenly...
can I just say this goes along with extra diapers? One diaper, this is also why we wear jackets when we leave the house. We don't plan for now, we plan for the future. You know that, you've managed projects.
Yes, that's why my pantryman uniform needs to be modular, because sometimes...
Could it have lots of pockets and gussets and straps and...
I don't want to wear an apron all the time, but I want a pocket for the apron because I know I'll need it at some point. You got to have a stripy apron at some point.
I think we'll call that pocket the apron stow. You'll have like, like the way that it's like real important, like to always like store your chains a certain way. Oh, the whole thing with anchors is crazy. This one's got a steam engine for raising the anchor, so you don't need to have
it uses. Oh, wait, this is genuine.
Yeah.
It uses
I'm gonna send you this video.
Steam engine to pull like its own separate mechanism powered by steam to raise and lower the anchor.
I'm so glad you asked. Hi, everybody. I'm so glad you asked, because if you did this on Admiral Nelson's boat, you would have to use, oh God, I just used this now and I've already forgotten it. There's this big thing that turns the chain that's like a big capstan. There's a capstan that goes through two decks of the boat. And imagine like a big, like turny tubey thing. Oh, something like you'd see somebody doing in Ben-Hur, or you make donkeys go in a circle to grind corn, that kind of thing, like a little merry-go-round.
Oh, like slaves on a
yeah. That's why I say Ben-Hur. Sort of like a galley, sort of. No, like you've seen the thing where you make something go in a circle to do a thing. Well,
yes.
you do that, but you do it with like, I don't know, 30 guys on two different decks of the boat. You've stowed away these long sticks, these 4 long sticks, and the long sticks go through holes like you'd expect. And then all these dudes very slowly go, and that pulls up, because the sturdiest part of the boat in some ways is the anchor and the chain. That shit's heavy as hell. And in this case, yes, they have steam to help with that.
Oh my God.
Maybe you could be the steam warden. Would you want to be in charge of steam? Steam, maybe you could be, how about this elective steam? Maybe your special steam projects. Would you like that?
I've become very enthusiastic about. I've always been enthusiastic about autoclaves, and they don't always have
People will never
steam.
talk to me about autoclaves. I have so many questions.
I do too. The more I learn, the more questions I have.
An
Think I've
autoclave is like a little oven for sanitizing lab things. Yes.
yes most of the time, but now or sometimes it will pump or suck air from a chamber if an object or a chemical needs to be moved in a lab situation, but I can't explain what those things are, why it needs to happen other than to do science. And I'm just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh, okay,
I think
there's
that's totally fine for a layperson. Don't be too
well,
hard
that's
on
why I'd be a
yourself.
pantryman. I wouldn't be in charge of
No, don't pay
knowing
the pantry
exactly what
man.
the
Don't even
steam would
fix a
do.
price.
Yeah, it just I will work the autoclave. I will work the fancy steam, the noun that you just used, and I've already forgotten
Oh,
as
what
well.
which the steam thing? What?
To raise and lower the anchor. Like this
Oh, yeah,
is
the capstan.
the
I
capstan.
could be
And
wrong. Everything on a boat has a special name. It's a Navy thing.
do you think that's performative? Like I think
No, no, no.
back
I think
in
that kind
the
of jargon,
day.
yes, it's a shibboleth, but also that kind of jargon is actually useful in context. It really, no, it really is because, I mean, to a person like me, like I still don't exactly understand. We talked about this 2, 3 episodes ago, but knots. We made some funny word jokes, but like knots is a measurement of. It's a like knots is like well we could think of it as like miles per hour. But like a knot is also it's like an amount of space and like there's everything. But like I think it's useful to know those kinds of things. But it's also it is a when I say shibboleth, I just mean it's kind of an in-group jargon. So like I was in military school, which happened to be a naval military school, and we always only ever use the naval words for things in like anything but the most informal context. So a floor is a deck, a wall is a bulkhead,
Like
windows a
wait, like
port.
in classrooms
You
too?
would I mean you wouldn't be like punished for it, but if you but no I mean like you would be admonished because you wouldn't keep doing it after the first week because that's not what you're supposed to do. You would always refer to what are some other ones? Those are the big ones, but like you get used to that, you know. What's a door? A door is a what is a door? What is a door? Oh, because a bulkhead's a wall. A door. One is a bun. Two is a shoe. Three is a tree. Four is a door. And you would be
This is
my chief steam engineer.
I was gonna ask why
I keep
did you have
saying
to do this
my.
in
Do you think I'm being ego
military
assertive
school?
about this ship?
No, this is your ship. If you weren't
Is
ego
it?
assertive, that's how they sink. Merlin, you gotta. Someone
Whoa.
needs to be Woody Harrelson
Yes.
saying, "Hello, lady. Before you puke, I need to give you some. I need to give you some words because
Well,
Alex
the problem is she should just
Pantryman."
have a little food and she'll feel better.
The I forgot. Oh, that's right. That happened.
Try to eat and drink a little more. It's funny. It's funny though because I'm not being silly. Well, of course I'm being silly. Hi everybody, but I am being honest in the sense that and I've watched a lot of. There's another station, another YouTube channel I like. Sometimes is Ocean Liner Designs with your friend Mike Brady, and he does great ship stuff, and I feel like I've learned kind of a lot from him about this stuff. Lifeboats, that's like a whole situation. Like there's things people kind of know about lifeboats. Like there's a kind of famous thing. If anybody knows anything about Titanic and lifeboats, there's that line, that very like, as you know, Bob moment in Titanic. Do you remember this when, who's that actress I like? It was on off menu. What's her name? Kate Winslet. Kate Winslet says to Victor Garber, I've done a quick sum, and it appears that there aren't enough lifeboats for the number of people on this ship. Now, wouldn't you say that that's a fairly well-known lifeboat fact, that there weren't enough lifeboats for the number of people on the Titanic? Have you heard that
I
before?
would say that that is something people think, but are you going
No, no, no,
to,
no. This is
well,
not QI.
actually?
I'm not trying to screw you up. But no, and the truth is, the thing is, a lifeboat was even then like a fairly modern or like recent idea. Like ships have had little boats on them for a long time, like a little packet, like to get you, like if you have to anchor at sea slightly far out, and then you know, like there's nowhere to dock. So there's ways, and then like maybe the captain just needs to go in town for hand stuff, like whatever it is. They got little boats for that. Lifeboats were a more recent idea because honestly, like what are you gonna do on your
Rose
lifeboat?
wouldn't have known about what a
But
lifeboat.
think
Rose
about
would
in the
have been like, why do you have
pre-Rose,
so
but in
many
the pre,
boats?
she was pretty smart. She's pretty smart. I mean, she was dealing with some rough trade down in steerage. They call it steerage because they're down by the loud steering equipment. But she's the one that does that. But the point is that it was never thought of as like, so the point being like in a pre-Rose time, let's even say if, you know, you're crossing, oh God, what did I just watch where people were on a condemned ship? It was something really good I was just watching. But what are you going to do? If you're in the North Atlantic, like in some, there's a storm and like maybe you've somehow gotten a little bit outside the shipping lane. Let's say they flawlessly drop your perfect lifeboat into the water. Like now what's going to happen? Right. I mean, and the thing is, even when they got lifeboats, it was, you know, it's never thought of as something where there's a seat for every person because it's not practical. But then when they did get more and more lifeboats, it still was really hard. This is upsetting. But do you know how hard it is to get a lifeboat, an old timey lifeboat from the like top deck of the ship into the water with 30 to 40 people in it safely? You have to lower, in the instance of this video I just sent you, 36 people are in a boat and it has to be lowered down manually with pulleys from this janky system. But like, is a boat always exactly like plumb? No, it rocks from side to side. So imagine 40 people in a boat being lowered down. And like apparently just a huge amount of the time, just everybody fell out of the boat. It just tipped over. But like there's all kind, think about the example of like, even if it is very still and you drop the boat down, if you don't drop it at the exact right second, could hit the water. And then when the ship lists to one side, it kind of boomerangs everybody out. I mean, I'd never really thought about it because it always just seemed to me like you just drop it in and everything works great. But the one they have in,
like being a babysitter, but just
yes,
part of my childhood was the Titanic and having so many because the movie came out in 1997 and
yeah.
in kindergarten, like, okay, wait, why wouldn't they have enough lifeboats? And then you get a book about Titanic, and then it turns out it's not necessarily that they were like performative, but it was like you said, it's like, well, what's
Well,
going
it
to
also
happen? I mean,
assumes
people
it
didn't
assumes an
even know
amount
how
of
to step
time.
onto a boat. Like, how do you even? They don't know. That's why there's a ramp to get onto most things. You can't just
But it
plop
also
in.
assumes I mean, like if I could say, we're coming at it from a very different point of view. We're coming at it from a point of view of like, well, first of all, that stuff has gotten a lot safer and more dependable and more fault tolerant in some ways, very much since World War II. I mean, you did not want to be a ship in the North Atlantic in World War. But like, you know, we've got GPS. We don't need to have all these different janky compasses and compensating magnets because of the metal of the ship and like all this crazy stuff. The stuff they used to do to like be able to do longitude and latitude is just crazy. But even with all of that, we look back at that and go, well, if you have, as douchebags like to say, 3,000 souls. If you got 3,000 people on this boat, you better sure as shit have at least 3,000 seats in. But that, think about all that assumes. I mean, one that jumps to mind for me, spoiler alert, it assumes that you will have enough time. Because like, think about all the things you would want to do before you like get people off a boat. Knowing how dangerous it is to get people into a lifeboat, you're not going to do that. First of all, as a captain, it makes you, I guess, probably look like a unprepared pussy. But like, do you have an amount of time to get 3,000 people off of a ship? Like, what? Tell me about the boat ship calamity where you have enough time to do that. Because I'm just saying, in the case of the Titanic, if you had a boat for everybody, you still no way would have. I mean, it was just too low down, and they couldn't get. There was no hope. But think about the one in Triangle of Sadness. Do you remember that one?
Yeah. Yes, and I was gonna say even
It's
in
almost like a
Triangle,
submarine.
it also assumes that in both situations that the crew, everybody for these 3,000 souls or 80 rich people, the crew is going to know how to operate a fucking submarine or,
Right, right, right.
row.
But luckily now we have the technology for that. It's gone further along. You could probably do some training on that. But I've watched some other videos because I'm broken inside about the history of lifeboats. And like a big innovation of the last N years is this kind of, I think this is what they do in the movie, although I don't specifically remember, where you can essentially like launch it off the back of the ship, where you like put it in like almost like a, not a water slide, but a chute. And with these new kind that won't tip over, they're like, Weebles, you can just shoot it into the water. And in the case of that one, it's like a capsule. So it's sealed. And so it can stand a little bit of rocking around and then right itself, which is very much not always the case of an open boat with 40 civilians in it.
Yeah.
Lifeboat talk. Would you rather steer clear of those kinds of safety roles? Or do you think really, at this point, I'm open. Anything
I
where
don't listen. I don't want to be a main character in a James Cameron disaster movie.
Okay.
So I
You could be
mean,
the old lying woman.
the old lying.
I think her name. What's her name? Oh, kids. What's her? The old lady. The old lady they bring in on the helicopter with the dog.
Oh, so it'd be Rose at 80.
Rose.
She's been 84 years.
Yeah, same titties. No waiting. I always thought that was funny though that they fly in. I like that movie a lot. I think that movie's good. I think it's way better than Avatar.
Yeah, I think that is a good
What a
opinion
nearly
most
meaningless
people share.
statement. I mean, a rectal exam is better than Avatar. Less blue.
Well,
No one cares. Challenge. Was that ego assertive?
no. Dig Dug. This week's challenge was to clean and sterilize something.
Nope.
No? Well, all right. What was it?
This week's challenge, which is actually last week's challenge, this is supposed to be the elderly pet episode where we talk about your phone screens. Oh, fuck me. We didn't do
No,
that.
that's
We
next
didn't make
week.
well, because we didn't announce it though here. We should have done that. Should we start over?
No, that's for the special after show people.
Just
Patreon.com due by Friday.
Your idea of what constitutes the basis for success is extremely confusing to me.
And then that's why I'm a pantryman, and you need the ego. That's why I'm not Woody Harrelson.
There's no I in team.
There could be.
There's no Y in lifeboat.
What if I want the camel case in
It's called camel toe.
TEAM.com.
CAM. If you don't spell it right. Challenge this week is to clean the shit out of something.
Oh,
But no,
oh,
you were roughly right. And it came up because I was talking about, well, with me it's always two things. There was the actual thing that was happening, which was I was working on cleaning out my nugget ice machine. But then the larger thing is I was thinking just about wherever you want to go with it. Is there a thing in your life that you are frustrated that you haven't cleaned in a while? And now you have a reason to go clean a thing you haven't cleaned in a while. That could be changing the filter on an air cleaner. That could be, in my case, we're never done cleaning the range top, right? Because it's just always going to get splorch all over it. But then it also leaves me these other completely seemingly unrelated things. I've discovered I enjoy sanding things like 3D figures and wood and stuff like that. I found that to be really strangely therapeutic. But then I also thought, is there any kind of a teachable moment to finding something that you I would call it elective cleaning? Is there stuff that you just enjoy cleaning or keeping nice? Maybe your eyeglasses. Anyway, we'll talk about whatever the fuck you want. You're part of the crew. You're a very important member of the team.
I just did the typical cleaning off my desk, doing a wipe down of all of the dust and, a typical sort of spring cleaning type situation. And I do it half-heartedly every, few months.
Is this the desk you're sitting at? Slow down. Is this the
Yeah,
desk you're sitting at right now?
Yeah,
Okay.
like changing
Which always struck me as a little busy. You have a lot of stuff in that area, don't you? By necessity, you've got a lot of like stuff you need, but also a little bit of infrastructure is in that area.
yeah, well, here is the problem I didn't discover, but it came about faster than I thought. Like trying to get someone in a lifeboat, if you don't have the infrastructure, like I don't have desk infrastructure. It has become again a cluttered situation because I still like I don't know. I think I need a new system because while it is very soothing to like clean off like get real in there and clean out all the spitty parts of my microphone, and I am really good still at within the
Oh,
mess. Yeah,
no,
like
I think I understand, but I would never have thought of that, and I never would have put it that way. You want to clean out all the spitty parts of your microphone.
how often do you clean the like innards of your mic?
To my knowledge, I have never deliberately cleaned a microphone.
Oh,
Like
all
if I've
right.
changed like one new one to an old one, move it around, do stuff like I'll like kind of like tidy it up a little bit. But I don't think I've ever tried to get my spitty bits out.
Oh.
No,
Oh,
no. It's not a criticism. This is how we learn.
oh, I'm criticized. I'm being
What's spitty? Okay,
ego-assertive.
well, if you're going to be a dick about it, what the
I'm
fuck are
not
you
being.
talking about? The dried saliva? What are you talking about?
Yeah,
There's no skin in there.
yes, there is. There's skin
Are you using
everywhere in
are you using a pop
everything.
filter?
I I am using a no. I use a windscreen
Oh,
on
you're
top of
going
a
bareback.
built-in. Well, it has a
You're a
built-in
windscreen.
pop filter, like the Echo. I don't know, whatever the microphone Marco recommended a decade
Hey,
ago.
listen, don't go overly general because you're losing the argument. So you've got a pure metal stack where you've got spit issues because you spit a lot. Are you hawking
No,
literal loogies, Alex?
not at the moment, but I do
Okay.
have a. There's a difference between a windscreen and a pop filter. There's a difference. Both should be
Oh,
changed regularly, but
why?
often because otherwise
Is it
it
because
gets
of
gross.
hygiene or sound quality?
Well, eventually it will erode enough that it's gonna break and the sound quality will suck. If you're in a studio, you are cleaning microphones all the time for hygiene purposes.
Well,
But
I
if
could
it's
see
just
doing that in a
you,
bar. Although, if there's anything that's never been cleaned in a bar, it's those SM57s that you have to smell. I mean, where you pick it up and it just smells like Jameson's,
oh my
you know?
God, they always smell like Malort. Like it's a
What?
Chicago.
No, come
Yes,
on.
well, think
Don't
about it.
perpetuate a
The
stereotype. You ever had
the
that stuff?
oh yeah, all the time. Uh, y-
I took a sip of one out of a community bottle at an event hosted by John Hodgman, I thought I was ready. That stuff tastes like, to use an old word, paregoric. It tastes like that liquid morphine they give you when I was a kid. That stuff is rough.
Were you a Victorian child? There was liquid. Why were you at a
What about me
hospital?
suggests I was never a Victorian child?
Okay.
You don't think I was a fancy lad?
Just in what contract? Like you're at a time. I'm extremely jealous that you grew up being able to get ephedrine. Like that is
Oh
wild to
boy,
me.
I
But
would not be the
liquid,
man I was without ephedrine.
liquid.
I did suck. I got so much accomplished with speed and everything got all
Oh
fucked up.
well, it'll do that for you. It's
You think you're better than me?
that meth.
Oh, my mania comes from my brain. I don't have to take
Oh,
pills.
the
Train
I
dreams, they
oh,
call it. What?
was this the codeine
Oh,
of?
do you actually want to know?
I am curious.
Okay.
Like you snipped them.
Let's play. If you're going to do notes, if you can be fucked to do notes this week, put this in notes. Paregoric.
Oh, it auto correct all right away.
And
Even as
this
an
is
angel.
something that was. I will not say that this was in every medicine cabinet. It was in every medicine cabinet I ever knew of. I mean, there was just some real
Oh
weird shit. And
my
Alex, the
God.
bottle you see here.
Oh my God.
Okay. Okay. So, Alex is probably looking at the Internet Science page, just like I am. Paregoric is camphorated tincture of opium, also known as a patent medicine known for its anti-diarrheal, antitussive, coughing, and analgesic pain relief properties. Paregoric is a 4% opium tincture in which there is also benzoic acid, camphor, and anise oil. Anise oil, that's probably it. Okay, so like, have you ever had like, ouzo or any of those really bitter drinks? Probably, I bet Malort. I bet Malortagoric. And I swear to Christ, this is well, there's two things that we had. This was one. And honestly, Alex, that could be the bottle that was in our cabinet. It looked like, I would have no way of knowing, but the old bottle of Paregoric, and you didn't use a lot. It was for if your kid was in a lot of pain. Honestly, earache, you might get Paregoric. And
Drugmaster Inc. is the brand of this paregoric. Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
look at that, Drugmaster Inc., and it's got a big X on it.
Yeah.
And that one's from the 40s, which could very well have been mine. It might have been something, part of my mother's dowry.
I mean, the what is it in Wolf of Wall Street? Those
Cocaine.
drugs that lasted forever.
Oh
and
yeah,
then-
yeah. My mom used to take those. I think it was not Xanax, but oh shit, fucking
Quaaludes. There we
oh
go.
yeah, Quaaludes. What's the one my mom took for her migraines? She took what's the one that everybody Valium. Valium was my mom. I think that was that's like a tranquilizer. I
That
think.
is it's a benzo.
Is that the one where he can't stand up on the steps? That funny scene.
No.
What was that?
Quaaludes, and that's a Quaalude.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, that was Quaaludes when they like that entire hilarious sequence was Quaaludes.
Yes, yeah.
And they stopped making them at a point. That was really funny. You know who's good in that is that Jonah Hill kid. Is that his name?
Oh God, yes,
He's
Jonah
very
Hill.
funny in that.
He's amazing.
And then the other one, did you have syrup of Ipecac when you were a child? Did you have that in you? Don't look it up yet. First answer, does that ring a bell, Ipecac?
Yes.
Okay, what does Ipecac do?
It makes you puke.
It induces vomiting. Now, did you have that?
For a very different reason and a very different it was not something that you had at home. That is something that was
Oh, it's for
administered.
like aversion therapy.
They're like, oh, you're touching the battery? No. But that is still
Looks like you were talking to that girl on the bus again. Ipecac time.
It's
She's so confident.
It's still used in like overdose situations at hospitals.
But here's the thing, and this was the thing that drove us all crazy in a different time, and this is why you have a poison control line, because, and as somebody who's been around children, you might know this. There's some things like you hear we hear one of those things like inducing vomiting. Well, why do you induce vomiting? Because your kid ate a bunch of, and this is not medical advice. That's the whole point. Please, but if your kid ate some X. And you're concerned, or worse still, maybe your kid might have eaten some of X, and I don't mean Molly, but like something. I'm trying to avoid saying a specific thing, but you're worried. Oh, it looks like my kid might have eaten some mercury out of a thermometer.
Mm-hmm. And taking not just licked the lead wall, but like putting.
Well, here's the terrible thing, as I understand it anyway, is like. There are situations that you will probably not be able to remember immediately off the dome in an emergency where there's exactly two completely divergent, if you like, binary paths. One is, holy shit, you should probably induce vomiting like 10 minutes ago because that's the only way this kid will survive. And the other one is, for the love of Christ, oh my God, do not induce vomiting because the coming back up is way worse for some reason. You know what I'm talking? So you know about that distinction, right? Like you can't just say, "Oh, my kid ate an oak leaf, therefore induced vomiting."
Yes, I mean, I actually the only time I've heard that example is for bleach or chemicals. I suppose, like a liquid
heard about
chemical.
in which way?
If you puke it up, it can be worse.
Oh, I see. So like caustic things, maybe,
It depends how much your liver
or like Drano, you know.
Yeah.
Oh
What
gosh, that's
fun.
also horrible. But
Yeah.
but then that's why you have poison control. My mom called poison control twice that I'm aware of. I think these are both well-known anecdotes from the MPU. One was because I got up early one Saturday morning when I was about 8, and I ate part of a bottle of Flintstones vitamins, and I ate them in my lunchbox. Now here you go. Here's something to make your case using a knife and fork like a fancy lad. I ate a little
For
Pebbles, ate a little Pebbles, ate a little Betty, ate a little Barney.
oh, okay.
And my
So
mom
you
came out and I was sitting there like a
oh,
fancy lad eating vitamins on the floor. So she called poison control. And it was a different
every day
time.
was vitamin
Also,
day.
my mom
And
thinks anything in a bottle is medicine. Like she like follows my mom. Like there were lots of cold medications when I was a kid. You know, stuff you might think of like Contact, names you still hear like Contact, or for me it was Triamcinolone. And they were like, you know, your typical like less safe than today, but not as bad as Paregoric. You know, it's usually like Tylenol and a cough suppressant or something like that. Theraflu is one I enjoyed later in a different format. But, I mean, let's be honest. Flintstones vitamins, I think you're going to be fine. No,
no, no
if I
unsafe
were a
dose.
mom and ran across that, I'm sorry. Sorry, go ahead.
No unsafe dose.
There's, oh, like CBD? Sitting down there eating CBD with a knife and fork.
You can get a little
Hello.
thick with your. I mean,
Could you please
some
call the
people-
pantryman? I'm running out of pebbles. Rather. And the other time was when I chewed on batteries. That didn't break through. Mom caught me. This is a couple years later. It's probably 5. And I was just chewing on some old Everettis.
Oh,
Have you ever bitten into a battery? I don't recommend it, but for you, just saying,
no,
think about
no.
think about what a AA battery is, like an old AA battery. Think about biting into that, how satisfying that is. How about this?
Oh,
You
this
never
is
admit
well,
it, but isn't it
ow.
satisfying to bite into a
Ooh.
pencil a little bit, to put teeth marks? Isn't
Yes.
that kind of, it's gross afterward, but isn't there, like, can't you feel it in your body, in your head right now, the satisfying crunch of putting your middle teeth into a pencil?
And then you work your way up to the eraser and just oh
That's
man,
that's the dessert course.
I'm holding a Blackwing pencil right now, and I the only reason I just have not eaten this is because I'm like, this is too costly to eat, and you know, this isn't treat day. I can't have the fancy black eraser.
I'm so
goes
glad
in
you're going to be
there.
working on my ship. I really admire your self-control and really, if I can say, your self-awareness. You're probably the most self-aware pantry man we've ever had.
Yeah,
But you don't know what to do. So, of course, my mom called poison control. I think we're just about done with that. And I should have written down, oh, yeah, you were cleaning your spitty bits.
oh, I need. I don't need a better system. I need a completely different system. And I started I've been springtime is all right. This is going somewhere. I have
You're good. You're
the
good.
like reverse.
We got to do 2 weeks
of-
worth of episodes today because you fucked
yeah.
up last time.
I have yes, like the reverse of what a lot of people have in terms of seasonal depression, where spring is like I hate spring. It's just
Is that because of your sinuses, do you think?
I think so.
My
Yeah,
sinuses
more
have
and
been so, everybody's sinuses
more.
here are fucked up. But I'm the only one who's like, I mean, I'm doing 96 dB sneezes, like 4 in a row. I'm getting the warning. But also like my snot sometimes like, has a
Yes,
little
okay,
bit of
I get
stuff
it
in it.
too.
Like that really tells something's like, I'm not doing anything that different and it shouldn't look like I'm a pantryman when I get my snots out. This is going to be a very appealing episode for people who love the human body.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we haven't talked about shit. Oh no, I did. You talked about the cheek, but anyway,
I saw a funny bit on Letterkenny this week about a woman who'd had a lot of kids, and when the wind would go past her vagina, it would whistle. I thought that was funny.
That's
We kind of have to see it. It's all about the writing
you have to see the writing. I
on the
was
wall.
was it on a wall?
Yep.
Stupid. I'm sorry.
No, it's not. I used to know what it said. It was 4 words. What was it? Is that in Daniel? What's that in? What's the writing on the wall? What's that in?
I don't know.
Because Daniel's the one with the lion's den. Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego. The other thing is the sports games, they only play part of hip hop songs and it drives me crazy.
Uh, uh,
Jock
you know,
jams. It's all really loud. I
yeah,
had to put in my AirPods just to get by.
I fucking Cubs games with AirPods, game changer. Now
I
see
looked
them
so
all the
cool
time.
sitting there trying to make all the different settings be correct. He was being a little bulky with me, and I had to keep looking at documentation. Oh, I guess I have to go to accessibility for that and headphone accommodations. And then, but like, oh, do I want to use my profile from this or from that? And then everybody's, "Ah, nah, 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 nah." And I'm just sitting there going, hmm. All I know is I do not want to hear this at actual volume.
I realized why I am actually a fan of most of the whole liquid glass, like new macOS and iOS UI situation,
Hmm.
the look of it. But then, yeah, like a lot of people, I'm also like, come on, why doesn't this work exactly like I want it to, the way it did before? I sound like an old man, blah blah blah. But then I'm like, oh no, you know
Well,
what this
no,
is?
I think you.
It's
I know
why
you. I agree that you do sound like an old man, but I think it's frustrating that we admonish ourselves. Another way to put that is like, why do I have to learn a new way to do this that doesn't have any benefit to me?
you
Like,
know why?
I think that's
Because it's
a
being a
totally
little
adult response. Is like, why should I do this differently if it's not benefiting me?
because they want to be a little cute. They're a little. It's kind of like this. You
I
gotta
doubt
hold
I
it
doubt they want to
down.
be cute, Alex.
Alan Dye thinks he's adorable. Are you kidding?
Oh
Like
man.
the cutest cutie.
And
And
when he well, the
anyway,
thing is previously like the thing is when he farts, nobody knows it's him because it's hidden under a hamburger menu. You click on the hamburger menu, you pull down, you go to
oh,
recent
there.
events, you click in there,
Are.
then you click on who farted. This is Alan Die.
Nah, I prefer
Yes, you
the
do.
vagina. You can't see the writing on the wall because of the transparency. That was
Talking about in Mandarin or simplified? What are you talking about?
with my whole, I'm very glad that my desk has less dust, but I'm like, I need to leave that. I'm not leaving the
What? Okay,
house in the
listen. If you're
spring.
gonna do this, okay, now we're gonna have to do a voir dire. And by the way, the new season of Jury Duty is fine, but it's nowhere near as magical as the first season. Just go in if you're gonna go in knowing there is no Todd and Chair Pants. There is no Genie Abruzzo. There's not going to be anything like that magic because I went back and rewatched the first season. Alex, it's still magic.
I've watched, oh,
And forget about how oddly, honestly, I'm being going to be dead fucking honest. That show is a riot. I can't believe they pulled it off. And like, there are very few final episodes of a season of a TV show that are more satisfying in ways you cannot anticipate than that one. I mean, I don't want to be a
they
cornball.
couldn't order a drink until he did. Part of, they couldn't. They could only get two drinks, and they couldn't. They, so you want to get something to drink? Hey,
Well,
oh, you want to
yeah,
get me
exactly. Or like, did you remember all the bins with all the menus in it? Because they had to figure out a way to be able to get the food and have it look like it came from a real place.
that's
And then
show.
and then Sewage Joe and the rest of the cast would eat an entire meal and then have to eat another meal, with what's his name there? Oh my fucking god. Anyway, that last episode, I'm going to say it. I found it very moving.
It is. It is
When Ike
both.
Barinholtz's dad says what he says to, for the love of Christ, Alex, what's the man's name?
Now I keep thinking about Mr. Chairpants. It's
That's
not
Todd. That's Todd.
Todd.
He's cybernetic.
No. Jury
Jury. I'm
duty
sorry, everybody. I don't
guy.
usually care, but it feels
Oh,
important now.
I just feel
Jury Duty season 1.
it stars
James Marsden.
Ronald Gladden.
Ronald!
Wow, I don't remember that.
But remember, and do you remember that judge is Ike Barinholtz's dad, the actor by Ike Barinholtz?
Yes,
And then would you
and
remember what he says to Ronald? He says, "What I said before was true," because he's apparently Columbo. He says, "What this is not actually, but like this is not actually my last trial. This is my first trial because I'm an actor, and everyone else in this room except you is also an actor." And then they all break, and he seems so genuinely surprised that and you can tell because it just keeps going on and on and on, where he keeps, for the next 20 minutes, he keeps having more realizations of like, oh wait, so when you did that
And then being
Didn't it
like,
feel
wait,
real?
the
I think it was
backflip?
real.
Yes, I think it was real because of so many of the mishaps and so many of the
Having
like,
to
oh god,
plan for contingencies. So you guys, just so you should check out Jury. Jury Duty is a show that if I pitched it, if anybody pitched it to me, even in the most generous way, I would never watch this because it sounds horrible, but it's not. The idea is, for reasons that'll become clear, a bunch of people have been called to be on jury duty, but it's a documentary being filmed, and there's a guy who got called for jury duty who's not an actor, and he does not know that everyone else in this is an actor and that it's being produced and to some extent scripted and then improvised, and he has no idea through this entire wackadoo case.
almost everybody on all of the actors kind of need to be pantrymen because they are running around kind
Correct.
of also producing
Correct.
the show because, like you said,
Right. So James
there are
Marsden, the whole bit
scripts.
is that the actor James Marsden is on the show in a very silly, very funny version of himself. The other one, I mean, like Sewage Joe, I clocked. Like, I would definitely be like, why is Sewage Joe from Parks and Rec here? Do you remember
I
him?
don't.
The guy who sends a picture of his balls to everybody, and then Anne is like worried about his ball health. Sewage Joe, Joe from
No,
Sewage.
I kind of am vaguely
What
remembering
was the
it.
point of me
I
saying
remember.
this? What was I talking about?
Well, something
Oh, it's about your
about
desk. Your desk. Your desk.
yes, and how it.
You need a
I
new
don't
system. You can't
know.
trust the old system.
Oh no, I can't trust myself to not go outside or to go outside in the spring when everything is here
Oh,
and it is
right, right, right.
functional, but it's not ideal. It's not optimal. Like if that makes sense. It's
Do you feel like you've had a system before and you're not honoring that system? Because, the other thing with a desk, whether you have a system or not, this is just an observation, but this is slightly adjacent to, I'm sorry, I'm spending a long time on this because this feels like it might be smart. This is very adjacent to the Peter Walsh book, It's All Too Much kind of thing of like, and something I think about a lot, like how much am I warehousing the past versus making room for possibility in the future? Like, as somebody who has hoarding like in my DNA, like it's something I always have to be aware of is like, how much am I saving or warehousing or just, piling up all of this shit? And even if you have a system for your quote unquote system for your quote unquote desk, there's no guarantee that that's kept up with where you are. And like, I feel like a desk is a place where one's worst habits tend to surface in a way that may not be obvious until you take a step back.
yeah, and because of that, well, because of the MPU and that book, I'm always aware of that and always aware of possible aspirational objects where I'm like, okay, after a week, if I'm not actually going to use this notebook, it's not going anywhere. It's gifted or the trash. No, no, no.
Okay,
Whereas,
but like, stop there a second. So when I was saying what I did a minute ago about like, for myself anyway, it tends to reveal my worst habits. Well, it's not only that I drink too much seltzer and don't finish them, but then I don't throw it away properly. It's that, just extend it though. All these, anything I have on here, these papers, this 3D model, this little, SIM chip popper outer, like at best, at best, these are things that should be put away from a previous project. But at less best, these represent my inability to make a decision about how seriously I want to take something. Like if I were
mhm,
taking this seriously, it wouldn't be here. Do you know what I mean? Do you ever get that feeling? Like that's another
yes.
bad habit of mine. If I took this more seriously, it would not be with these other things on my desk for all
Mhm.
kinds of reasons.
Most piles are not serious piles in my own
Oh,
experience.
from your mouth to God's ear,
I'm like, all right,
kipple accumulates. I'm telling you.
yeah. Well, and the issue that I have been running into is like, all right, I keep getting rid of the kipple. Follow my manual. Everything is good, but I think that I think that I'm being productive in a way that at a different time, in a different season, I am indeed productive because I have a different mindset. I am not sad. I am
And you
by
also
the end of the
you
day, if
like
there's six
Christmas, right?
cans,
You like the
oh,
holiday season.
oh, I love going for snow walks.
Yes.
Like
And like pound for
this,
pound, you excluding like extreme events, you kind of like the general weather better of that time of year, yes?
even extreme unsafe weather, I love it. I like unironically absolutely love
Well,
it.
it's because
And
the fire is so delightful in spite of, the weather outside being, if I could say, frightful.
but not
You
just
might even
Christmas.
say, let it snow, let it snow.
Yes,
Let it
let it
snow.
snow, let it thunder snow,
Let it
let
snow with me.
the the my desk, my goal for my desk is always it be a place for both structure but also like structural opportunity where like oh and something new and exciting has come up and it's not going to necessarily take away and like I structured enough where something will come up that I will take and need to take seriously.
Uh
And
huh.
the reason I know that I can take it seriously is because I am prepared for that. Even if it's the dumbest thing of like, oh, this package has arrived and it needs to be labeled in a certain way, so I have
But
the
I
right.
think you're getting into the thing I'm talking about though, which is like this is not done. Like there's still a decision or an action for this that and for me anyway, I feel bad that I haven't done that. I feel guilty or not competent that I haven't dealt with that yet. But and yet
Mhm.
it accumulates, and that becomes a kind of procrastination, right? Because you're like, oh, this has to be returned, or like this form has to be filled out, or this has to be repackaged in this other thing, or like do you run into those kinds of things?
Yes, and especially now, even like right here, I have I've got my Energizer button batteries, and they are for air tags, and my air tags go in the thing.
CR3042s, whatever those ones are, right? I
Yeah,
have a great solution for you. I'm going to write it down for the notes.
the reason
Do you have a battery, Daddy?
no, I do
Okay.
not have a battery daddy, and part of the reason
I'm sorry. It sounds like that. If anybody didn't know that that was a kind of battery caddy we've talked about on this program, that would sound like some kind of a site for people in different social positions who want to have some kind of sex or money thing.
well, and
Who's your battery daddy?
I wouldn't have a battery daddy. I would be like a battery
Be battery
mad thing.
Maddie
Yeah.
because you want to get your 9 volt
God
on.
damn it.
Get that 9 volt on.
But air tags are what I use when I am going out and doing something interesting or using my brain in a different way. And I'm like, well, I can't leave yet because the batteries are here and I need to put them in my air tag. So
Oh,
I'm
that's
not.
classic getting things done shit right there.
Yeah. Yep.
No,
And
but like
so.
you can. I'm not mocking you. I'm saying I feel you. But
Mhm.
isn't that exactly the thing where like after you've read the first third of getting things done, you're like, I'm never doing that again.
And then you need to finish the fucking book because otherwise you're
Otherwise, it'll never
Alex in
stick. It'll
springtime.
never stick.
Yep. And I genuinely was be after in our bye we our mulligan punt what do you say
What the fuck
when
is
we punted to this
happening?
week I was like
In our
yeah I guess
interregnum.
we
Were you looking for interregnum?
sure.
Interlocutor. Tranche.
Look in the tranche week
Yeah, we got a
I'm
tranche
like
week. It's like a bye week, but
the and I'm in the tranches and like
oh,
all right the reason that the desk looks like this is because I'm using it in the middle of the night because I can't sleep so it's supposed to be like this and
this suddenly
I
sounds like the part of the episode that will be eventually admitted in court. The desk is like this because I was using it in the middle of the night because I couldn't sleep. Cops love talking to me. Oh my God, you're Ed Kemper.
Murdoch. kid. No,
You're a
it's
keeper. Joseph Wamba. Do you feel bad about it?
oh, absolutely.
No, for
It's just
real. Like, do you feel, because
so,
like it's
yeah.
easy enough. You can feel bad a little bit about each one of those things, but then with me, then I feel bad cumulatively too, where I feel like, oh, what a ridiculous collection of incompletions this is. You
Yeah,
dummy, you know better than this.
yeah, it's like a double or a quadruple whammy of you know better. You have also well, one you know better. Two, you have
Hmm.
failed at this specific thing that has not you have not put the batteries in your air tags, and then three, you actually haven't gone anywhere. So that's an like your
It's like a
failure
multi.
starts to
Oh, so wrong is not
accumulate.
even right because you're talking about
Yeah.
really a multi-leveled failure in some ways. I mean,
Hmm.
honestly, because isn't that part of it? And then like that just again the sadness accrues. Like
I have a quadrangle of sadness. It's just
that'll do, pig.